I'm Jim Taylor. Welcome to In Favor Resources and to this video series on the stories behind the books. Today's titled, Indiana is a Highway of Revival. Now in these videos, I'm sharing with you 5 resources that I believe will help you discover these prophetic words, determine your part in seeing them come to pass, hopefully in our lifetimes, and determine how you can participate in bringing Indiana into its prophetic destiny. So resource number 4 in this series is a departure from the other 3. So it's not like the Red Book or the Blue Book, which are very similar, and they took 12 prophetic words and they divided up into categories. The new resource doesn't do that. There's no workbook edition for the new resource. And it's not like the third one, the White Book. It doesn't take prophetic words and turn them into declarations. So if these words, these books, if they covered a lot of ground, and they did, because these two had 24 full-length prophetic words given by 15 different prophets and divided in half a dozen different ways. And this one had more than 200 prophetic words or excerpts of prophetic words that have been spoken over Indiana and turned them into declarations that we can make over our state. So if these 3 books covered a lot of ground, then resource number 4 actually zeroes in on just one small thing, like one blade of grass in that big yard or one particular flower in that beautiful garden. So this is the first in what I hope is going to be a short series called Seeing Indiana the Way God Sees Us. Because frankly, sometimes I am just surprised, pleasantly surprised, at some of the things that the prophecies say about our state. I mean, I found myself saying, Lord, are you sure that this is true about us? Sometimes I'm always thrilled that God has these great plans and good intentions for us, but sometimes it's just hard to see how they can be true. But this is how God sees us when he looks at Indiana. And so the title of this first volume in that series, Seeing Indiana the Way God Sees Us, the title of this one is Indiana is a Highway of Revival. Indiana is a highway of revival for the healing of the nations. Now that amazing statement came from Cindy Jacobs, who was a very well-known and much respected prophet. And in September of 2009, in Rockport, Illinois, on Rosh Hashanah, Cindy was seeking a word from Indiana, and this is what God showed her. This is what God sees when he looks at Indiana. He said, Indiana is a highway of revival for the healing of the nations. Now, I was absolutely intrigued by that. I thought, well, what does that mean? Why did God give her that particular word? How is Indiana a highway? A highway of revival for the healing of the nations? I mean, is it true? How do we know? What does it mean for us? What should we be doing about this? And so this book is my response to that. It's an exploration of highways. In 7 progressive statements, 7 chapters, you will see what makes a highway so special and so different from other streets and roads, the importance of highways throughout history, in Scripture, in Israel, and in Indiana, the role of highways in our past, present, and future, and how highways can show us our destiny. And you will see how Indiana is serving as a highway of revival for the healing of the nations. You'll have to read the book to get the whole story, but just in a nutshell, let me share this. Roads can just happen. I mean, they start out as footpaths, animals going back and forth to water, and hunters follow the animals, and then pioneers follow the Native Americans, and settlers follow the pioneers, and then armies and wagon trains, and it all gets built up and it gets stomped down, and pretty soon you have a road. And everybody knows that road, Pendleton Pike, Highway 40. Everybody knows that road then. That can just happen, but highways are intentional. They are planned and they are carefully constructed. And so stones and obstructions are removed, and rough surfaces are leveled out, and low places are filled in, and high places are cut through. So the center of the road is built up, drainage ditches are dug along the sides. Highways are intended to be the most direct and the fastest way to the destination. They don't wind over here and then go over there. Highways cut through. They are the fastest and most direct route to a destination. And that's how God sees Indiana. As evidence of that, I give in the book 7 brief illustrations from 7 famous revivalists. These are all names that you'll know. Mariah Woodworth Etter, William Seymour, Billy Sunday, John G. Lake, F.F. Bosworth, William Branham, Lester Sumrall, and then a detailed story about Sammy Morris, the little boy from a remote part of Africa that God saved him from death, led him to the coast, miraculously put him on a boat. He went to New York City, and from there he was told, you need to go to Indiana. He came here, and even today people are still going out bringing revival and healing to the nations in the name of Sammy Morris. And plus, besides all of that, you'll get information about highways in popular music, highways in American culture, other highway prophecies that have been spoken over Indiana. You're going to be sick of hearing about highways by the time you read this, but you'll be convinced that it's true, that Indiana is a highway of revival for the healing of the nations. And you'll have access to the online resource, which is going to give you a lot more information, some things about famous highways in Indiana, photos, detailed maps and charts, all kinds of other information that I was kind of too lazy to put in the book, but it's available to you online at the In Favor Resource website. Just to summarize here, one prophet, one sentence, but many applications to the 6.8 million people who live in the state of Indiana, and of great importance to the nations, to the billions who are needing and hungering for revival and for healing. And Indiana, God designed us and constructed us to be the fastest and most direct route to get there. As always, you can contact us, purchase resources, see other videos, or find more information at infavorresources.com, and you can contact us at infavorresources@gmail.com. Now, the next video in this series deals with the second entry into that Seeing Indiana the Way God Sees Us series, and it's a single prophecy given by Chuck Pierce over Indiana, in which he says, you are an army in Indiana. Join me for that video.